But I'd way rather talk about the spirituality of elephants and where they're at than what the weather is. I can tread in that area, not me.
My biggest fear is that I would lose my photo albums. I would actually grab that computer and I would grab the photo albums before everything else.
If we're going to talk about uncomfortable topics, for me, it's about having a really good death.
I did not expect this topic to come up.
I like quiet. I like to be in nature and quiet and meditate without talking. It sounds like a sociopath.
No. Men feel responsible for the family and for the kids and, need to deliver and provide.
Like little boys can cry up to whatever, 4 to 6. And then there's some age where all of a sudden society is like, don't cry, dude. Come on, be strong. Be strong. Come on. Come on.
Hello, my dog lovers. I have the one and only Dr. Karen Becker here. Hi, Karen.
Hi, Peter.
And we've been hanging out doing the Hormone Health for Dogs series. And we thought it would be so nice if we just had a normal conversation, because we talked about how important conversation is for longevity. And I also feel that it's super important for you guys to get to know us behind and beyond the veterinary medicine and beyond the vet talk and health and all that. So, Karen, are you in to participate in this madness?
Yes, I love it. You know what I like is that, so you texted me this morning and you're like, hey, want to Skype or Zoom or whatever. You're very tech fancy schmancy. Whatever your platform is, you want to log on and talk. I'm like, yeah. And then you said, hey, want to play, I forgot you want to play Ask a Vet. Is that what it's called?
No, get to know your vet.
And I was like, ask me what? And I'm excited to hear. It's kind of, I don't know where the conversation's going, but I'm quite excited.
Well, the thing is that I don't really know where it's going to go, because I have a set of cards. I've already used some of the cards with our other colleagues. And I have no idea what is in these cards. I can only guarantee that, number one, they're not totally stupid. Some of the conversation cards are totally stupid. And second, you can actually say, when I feel like answering that, I'll do that. Or when I feel like commenting, I will. Or you can just say skip, or you can just press the stop button or leave button, whatever it is. So you will have actually some sort of form of participation in this, because I'm going to divide the cards and you can tell inner left or right,
okay,
or outside left or right. So you just have to, and the card has two sides as well.
So I'm just excited because my brain is like, are we going to be swapping recipes? Because I love to cook. Are we going to be talking about God, which I also like? Are we going to be talking about crustaceans? The universe. Okay, yeah, whatever. All the things. We're talking about aliens. Like, this is just so many different things. Okay, let's go your left hand. And let's just go mid-deck.
Oh my goodness, mid-deck again. So now we have to mid-deck, you have to go.
That's the one. That's
Which
it.
one?
The one on your right. Just flip it and read it.
This one. That's it. Okay. Oh my goodness, you really asked for it. But this is it. Are there things you'd like to tell others but feel you can't take the risk? See, you chose it.
I did. And I feel very much that that's the case. Like on an ongoing basis about a lot of topics, I feel that way. Yes.
Yeah. Is there an example? I know that he can't take the risk, right? So it's like, it would be really weird to actually say that. So it's a really hard question, actually.
I can think of a million examples, but do you want more of like a professional example or a personal? So here's where my brain goes. Like, the issue of copper in pet foods is like this elephant in the room, where I live in the US and we make pet foods that fall under AAFCO compliancy. So there's this minimum nutrient requirements that our pet food industry has agreed to live by if you live in the US. And they set minimum nutrient standards, but they don't set maximums. So like for copper, and copper's a metal that we all need a little copper, but we don't need to have whopper loads of copper going in every day. And when we've calculated many of the top selling pet foods, it's 600 to 700 times above safe upper limits of copper. And that's cool, like once every now and then you have a Whopper meal with a ton of heavy metals, or and I shouldn't say heavy metals, a ton of minerals that
They're not supposed to be there in such amount. Exactly.
right. And that also the big arguments like organic versus inorganic copper is the big argument behind the scenes right now is like, is it from a supplement or is it just naturally occurring in the food? But then the other thing is my world coming from Iowa, these are feedlot cattle and they're basically fed kibble. We feed feedlot cattle pellets. We formulate rations for them and they have really high levels of some of these minerals. So then all those really high levels of minerals go into our meat supply, and then our meat supply goes into our pet food supply. And there's a lot of minerals that sometimes our pets' bodies need some minerals, but too many minerals, too few minerals are no good, and too many minerals are no good. I'm really going down a tangent right now,
No, no,
but
no, no, that's
that's
good.
what I think
Actually, it
about.
makes me, if I understand well, it's about knowing something that if you kind of like blow it up, it's going to be so crazy. And at the same time, you just said that. So you were brave enough to actually share this
So
information. So I
I,
think that the
yeah,
learning point that I'm taking from you being brave and daring to actually mention this is that we need to go the route of least regret, and actually, even though it's uncomfortable and we may be attacked or ostracized or whatever, we need to actually say the right thing. And it actually basically takes us back to our common project, the hormone health for dogs, because it's not like we like to be called names and be told that we are actually ruining the rescue efforts because we are recommending hormone sparing sterilization. We are trying to clarify that this is important for the health of all dogs and that we have to find solution. And the same thing with the copper, if I understand it well, like it's there and you can deny it, and now we have to do something about it. And not saying anything is actually hard. I mean, is not the right thing to do. And you're brave. So I think that this question is, I think you did great.
that's a question that I wrestle with
um,
a lot. Yeah. So it was interesting that came up
and
because I do.
it also reminded me of I'm generally in politics. I'm actually centrist, and I'm proud of it. And at the same time, I don't think that either side is always right. And I sometimes am afraid to actually share that with people because some people assume that I have to be either left side or right side, whatever politics or whatever else it is, medical belief. And it doesn't necessarily need to be that way. And sometimes I actually catch myself to hesitate to actually share my opinion because I just don't want to deal with the craziness of the polarity of the world, right? And so I just stay quiet.
I do that a lot as well.
Yeah.
And part of it is that I've been told stay in my lane long enough that just staying in the lane that you are known for or that your career is built on, it's safe. Deciding to go outside of your lane can be unsafe. And yet, how do you really change the world if you stay in a safe place? So it's about pushing, it's about bringing forward topics and issues that to me are like the big elephants in the room, but doing it in a responsible, ethical way that brings not chaos or panic or pandemonium, but brings to light a little bit like the fresh food topic, like eating 30 years ago, eating ultra processed foods is maybe not the best idea day in and day out, that maybe it would be a great idea for our domesticated animals to eat some biologically appropriate foods. We can approach topics and introduce topics in a way that allows people to have common sense land for them and for them to absorb it without being threatened or challenged and
Or
allow
free
so
time.
that. Right. And so as long as we're not triggering this defensive, you're totally threatening my beliefs right now, and I'm gonna have to flip out on you. For me, it's about how can we have really meaningful conversations that change the dial for pet health in a way that doesn't threaten people enough that they just flip out and are triggered with an emotional reaction versus really thinking through how they want to best show up and respond to a really important question.
Mhm, mhm. And interestingly enough, I was just listening to a podcast this morning, and they talked about the timing of actually disclosing certain information because Copernicus, for example, I don't really know exactly when he discovered that the Earth is not the center of the universe and that it's the sun actually of our solar system. Sorry, and he actually decided not to say anything until he was on his deathbed, and then
Wow.
100 because he knew that if he did that he would basically not be able to do the work and he would be basically either killed or ostracized or locked
Yeah.
up or whatever else. And then Galileo Galilei 100 years later actually decided to kind of proclaim the sun-centric kind of theory of our solar system. And they actually locked him up on house arrest, and he could not really be free for the rest of his life. So, then obviously they were proven right. But we need to also know how to present the information and when. And if you, as a veterinarian, were not able to practice, or they would take your license away because saying something that is not really liked, then obviously it's probably smarter for Dr. Becker to keep her license and be actually useful as opposed to not, right? So that's something that is interesting.
I, for me, I have to be able to speak my truth or I will go crazy. So I'm not a girl that will just sit by and watch things happen that I know in my heart are not okay. I can't do that. But what I have learned how to do is I know in my heart that this is a valid point that has to come forward. For instance, I know that the accepted stance of repeated annual vaccines, just annual every 12-month on this day, that your vaccines will magically wear off for your dog and you should just do it every year at the same day. I knew that that was not science coming out of vet school. How do you present this in a way that your colleagues will accept, pet parents will accept, but most importantly, you begin introducing a conversation that allows for people to think outside the box, but not be threatened. Just begin thinking, I don't go in every year for an MMR DPT for myself. I was vaccinated as a kid. I'm protected for life. So for me, it's about storytelling in a way that allows people to connect the dots without threatening like, I don't want to threaten my colleagues' existence because they don't like that. But it's about bringing up conversation points that allows us to meet and have a discussion without triggering each other in a professional way. Vaccine antibody titers are actually the best standard of care. It's the gold standard. Why would we guess and assume that animals should be boosted when there's no such thing as boosting an already immunized immune system? We also know that vaccines don't magically wear off. And we know that us telling our clients, yeah, your animal's protected, you're doing this every year, that's not true because none of us are psychic. We know that. We know the top and best and gold standard medicine is vaccine antibody titers. But why is it so presented as woo? And why is it so presented as ooh, that's fringe and weird? Because we still have to engage in telling a story in a way that allows our colleagues to think about this in a more scientific way that aligns with their scientific training. And like that I think about a lot. How can we have meaningful conversations with people that still think vaccine antibody titers are woo? Our colleagues. We have a lot of veterinarians that are like, oh, you can't trust titers.
Yeah,
Why?
it's more interesting. I do have a feeling that part of the reasons why some people are resistant are that or is that there are so many individuals who try to force the information on others, right? And that's actually the wrong way to go. If we provide um, research that we have, information that is solid, or just kind of trickle it down, and it's almost like we cannot be dipped into, let's say, really cold water and stay 7 minutes there. We have to practice, right? So with the new information, we get used to, as humans, we get used to certain fact or certain change in how we do things, but we have to do it gradually. I think that just forcing it on to someone is like trying to dip them in the cold plunge for 7 minutes, right?
Right.
And so you
Yeah.
just have to let's do a cold shower for 5 seconds and give you a little bit of information and then do more and more and more. So
Yeah.
if there are any people listening and watching who really care about certain issues in veterinary medicine or life in general, I don't think that we can force the information onto others. Like, we've been all faced with family members who, let's say, don't eat well or do certain things that we know are not good for them, we cannot just tell them, "Oh, you're doing it wrong." We just have to be very gradual and mindful and diplomatic. That's why diplomacy exists and it's studied in schools.
Yes. Yep.
So, next question. Are there people you feel reassured by, and what is it about them that makes you feel this way?
Hmm. That's a good question. Oh, yes, of course there are people that make me feel reassured. And in my life, Peter, those people are the humans that I know that love me despite fill in the blank, right? Despite my flaws and my shortcomings and my downfalls and my personality quirks and my weirdness and my pet peeves, and people that can truly just love you for who you are. Those people are my tribe. But I think that that's also, we were talking before the podcast about blue zones have identified exercise, good food, and our relationships are the three factors that are hugely important. And of those three variables, the most important variable is our relationships. And my relationships are the most important thing to me. And the people that love me unconditionally, those are the most precious relationships I have in my life, because you can just, it's okay to fail and not perform well and have bad days and be honest, and nothing changes because they love you for exactly who you are. And that's a really beautiful, safe thing that some people don't have. And that makes me sad.
I do feel that safety is actually part of it, and also the comfort and ease. Like I love being around people who are not perfect, but who are kind of accepting or don't make a big thing out of every little thing and drama and trauma and this and that. Like I know that we all have it, right? But I don't really know why it happens that in the presence of some people we feel so comfortable and so safe, and in presence of others we're on edge. And I think that it's real art to actually kind of melt the ice sometimes, and I have been trying and doing my best to practice that with people who I feel may not be as at ease with me or may not even like me. And it's interesting, but I feel really lucky actually to be here with you today, because we have, as our friendship progresses, we have kind of found this comfort that we kind of know that we are not perfect, right? But we fill in the little bits and pieces that the other person doesn't have, and that's what's beautiful also on people getting together in real friendships, that we actually, the strengths and weaknesses kind of like, they kind of fill in each other. We fill in each other on some level, because you're very scientific, and you love digging in the research and science. And I was just saying that I'm a little bit more intuitive and just kind of like going by whether it makes sense or doesn't make sense. And yeah, so that's really cool. We appreciate all of you people who feel aligned and who are willing to put up with our quirks. How about that?
I think that that's part of life, is just finding a tribe of people that you resonate with and that
Mhm.
resonate with you, and realizing that not everyone, you're not going to make everyone happy, and everyone's not going to make you happy. And that's okay. And just find your people and support your people and love your people well. And in turn, you will be loved and supported. And that's like the best gift ever.
There's one caveat I would like to make, and that's when, as you go through life, and at least that's how I felt. As I go through life, I feel that the circle of people that I really want to be with is getting smaller, but is getting more powerful and more solid on the level of the connections and relationships, right? And it's also about really maybe not wasting time and not even trying. Sometimes we're trying to connect with other people and it's just not working out, or they're not interested in connecting with us. It's fine. Karen, if you told me tomorrow, Peter, I don't want to talk to you for the rest of your life, I'm fine with it. I'll just say I'll find other friends.
I do think it is worth you finding someone who your whole tribe of people. You need to find
Yeah.
people that you really resonate with. And for me, my circle of loved ones is so sacred and important to me. But I'm so fulfilled. I don't really have a desire to go meet a lot of new people. And there's nothing that bugs the shit out of me more than small talk. Like, I am a girl, I do not like small bullshit. I don't like to bullshit. I don't like to like
You don't
what
like parties, so you don't
I
like the
no,
parties
no, no,
where
I
people
love
get stuck.
parties. I love parties. In fact, we just had a neighborhood party last night, and this is why Steve Brown's my neighbor. We have some new people that moved to the neighborhood, and literally he introduced himself and he's like, "Hi, I'm Steve Brown. I'm taking a poll. Do you think elephants have souls?" Like, that is a really good ice-breaking question to someone you just meet is, "Do you think elephants have souls?" And if they say yes, then he goes down a notch. "Okay, do you think that mice and shrews have souls?" So I just saw people at this at our Black Friday neighborhood party last night. People are like, "Ooh, you guys are coming in. You come in with like, 'Hi, my name's Karen.'" And then you just dive right into like the deep seated spiritual shit. That is so much better for me than people that want to talk about the weather for an hour. Like, I just can't. I can't.
Well, I mean the cocktail parties, right? Like where you get stuck with the person, you're thinking, how can I get out of this conversation because it's not going anywhere? And yeah, I agree with you 100%. Or that's one of the reasons why I don't like rectangular tables because I think round tables, you don't get really stuck with one single person,
It's true. It's
but a
true.
rectangular person, rectangular person, rectangular
Yeah,
table is,
yeah, rectangular people at a rectangular
you
table
know,
can.
like,
But I end up just fishing for questions. Like, when you can tell that there's this superficial level that you appear to be stuck at, I can't. And I don't fake it at all. I don't try and be anything other than exactly who I am, which can be a little much for some people. And but I'd way rather talk about the spirituality of elephants and where they're at than what the weather is. Like, I'm just who can tread in the area, not me. Not me.
seriously, do elephants have a soul? What do you think?
I do.
Oh,
I do
totally,
think.
totally.
I
All the
absolutely do.
animals, like how sometimes you have critters like ants, like crawling on your bread, on your fruit, or whatever you left on the kitchen counter. I so struggle with actually even like sweeping them off. Like I go, like I'm gonna harm some of them, right? Like, am I pathological? Maybe a little bit.
No, you can, but I will tell you, Rodney Bibb has a whole series of non-harmful bug-sucking tools that allow you to gently vacuum in them, and you can take them outside. Yes,
Oh wow.
and yeah, and we can show you those things. We just are take them outside, and we do a lot of catch and release happening.
Okay,
Uh,
well, I have to. It's Black
yeah,
Friday, so I'm going to right now today during the time of recording. It's actually Black Saturday. Is it Black Saturday? No, it doesn't
I don't
exist.
know. I
Anyway,
hate
it's the
shopping.
weekend. So I'll go and check if they have any
And
insect
then
sucking devices.
what about doctors eating their patients? Do
You
you
know,
think?
you made me stop almost like in that weird like I don't think I want to go there. And then I realized actually that it's about veterinary medicine, right?
I mean, if
But
we're going to talk about uncomfortable topics, let's
uh
just start with we take care of them and we love them and then we eat them. And I don't eat my patients, but I also for me it's about having a really good death.
you know,
Like,
yeah, it's oh my goodness, like I did not expect this topic to come up. But I'll tell you how I feel. So I have obviously a certain degree of guilt about feeding packs meat. I do my best to source good meat, and I have hunters who like to sell venison and so on that is invasive here in Maui. But overall, I think that everyone actually should go to visit slaughterhouses and then decide how they're going to change the world in a positive way. I almost never eat meat. Like once in a while, I make an exception. But I do think that the level of awareness should be increased. As a vet or as a vet student, we used to go to slaughterhouses, and that kind of traumatized me for the rest of my life. So that's why I try to minimize the consumption of meat. But I agree with you that sometimes the animals give us the gift of their life to actually sustain ourselves. And I don't have anything against people eating meat, but
either.
I would love to increase the awareness of what's happening in slaughterhouses so we as a society can actually change it and improve the situation.
Yes. Yes. And see, I have no guilt feeding my
Me
beloveds
too.
meat. Be
Me
I
too.
I have a lot of anger towards people that try and make snakes vegan. I have a lot of like I get really angry when people are like, I'm gonna
Oh,
save the planet and make my cat vegan. And I have to like I have a professional breath work coach, shout out to Brady. I pay a guy to teach me how to breathe through intense, stressful anger, rage, where I'm like, it is not okay that we are forcing, like, if you're a vegan yourself, cool. You do not have the ethical and moral right to force your beliefs about religion or politics or anything else on anyone else. Your job is to manage your own viewpoint. It's not to force veganism on your damn cat, people. I'm
yeah, but
We
so
just hijacked.
this
I
is
just
where
hijacked that
my, this is where you guys can see, right? Dr. Becker, she's a warrior. She's gonna just go for it. And I go like, too strong.
Their hard conversations
Maybe
with no
not. I
one.
think that I'm very grateful for you being. I'm just such a coward in a way. I think that we have for two more questions. Is it okay? Two more questions from one card because this
Let's
has
do it.
been very revealing. Okay. E-pull, e-draw.
I think you should just surprise me.
Okay, I'm gonna divide them. Don't make it too complicated. Say left or right or outer inner.
I don't care. I'll just say right. First, third card on the right.
Oh my goodness, you're really tricky. See, you're unique in that way. Oh, there you go. This will be actually good advice for many people because I know that you've mastered it. How can one overcome shyness?
Ooh. Have you taken those personality tests? Like, there's a million of them, but like it tells you what percent extrovert and like the last one I took, I was labeled as a extroverted introvert. Like, what is that?
Well, you like privacy, but you're extroverted. You're a communicator. How about that? Is that would that
Yeah,
make sense?
I really need a lot of alone time to recharge, and I like quiet. I like to be in nature and quiet and
Mhm.
sit and meditate without talking and anyone around me. I really like to be alone that way.
Because you
Sounds
do
like
so much
it sounds like
talking.
a sociopath.
No, no. You do so much talking, and I just had a conversation with the raw pet medics the other day, and they were describing the states after they come from a day full of appointments, right? And we all relate to that. Like it's just like you need a break. Like I think the brain just doesn't really. It's not a perpetual mobile. Like it just has to have a break. So I understand that. I think that every person, and you have been a public figure for a long time. I really appreciate you for being out there and giving yourself out so much. And I know that you care so much about everyone. But at the same time, needing some private time is definitely not sociopathic. It's normal. It's self-preservation. And I
Self-care, really.
yeah,
It is self-care.
self-care. That's
Yeah.
a better word. But I also appreciate the clients and our community who are kind of mindful of that and understand that there is thousands and tens of thousands and million in your case, millions of people who um, you serve, and it's not possible, humanly possible, to actually connect with everyone on personal basis. But at the same time, I do feel that we are really feeling strongly connected to the whole community as the body. It's almost like a beehive of like-minded souls. And
Yeah.
so I hope that everyone feels that connection.
I hope so too, Peter. But also thank you for pointing out there are times it just happened. I was flying. We did 8 states in 7 days, and it was a lot. And when I was flying home, I got some stressful news from a dear friend about a personal matter that was just horrific and bad. And I was getting off the plane and I had one earpiece in and I was listening to her voicemail about this horrible personal situation. And as I was listening, the woman next to me stopped and turned and goes, Dr. Becker, Dr. Becker. And I was trying to listen and look at her. And she became so, I think, hurt or upset or something happened where I was not the girl she needed me to be in that situation, getting off a plane, and she just met me, and I was not able to fully engage with her, and she looked at me and like she said thanks for nothing, and I was like, I was trying to process what just happened, and clearly I think what she wanted a photo, or she wanted to ask a dog question, and I was first of all crying. I was crying listening to this message, trying to process this woman who wanted to interact with me, and I couldn't interact with her because I was having an emotional crisis on the side. Those things haunt me because she'll go online and say, I met Dr. Becker at the airport and she's not the woman I thought she was. And it's like, how do you be everything to everyone all the time? You can't, right? You can't.
I'm sorry that he had to experience the situation because I can understand how frustrating it is, and people don't really know. And sometimes we are just even on the phone, right? And someone runs into us, and we have to wave them and can't really engage fully. And those are the situations that happen all the time these days with headsets. But I can only imagine how you felt because I know that you're not that kind of person. You like to engage, but I think that there's a human, like we've never been we're not designed for this kind of level of connection, right? And so we need to kind of go back in. I don't have many people stopping me. Once in a while it happens, but what happens to me often is that if I go to a beach where there's a lot of dog lovers or parks, people out me. And I actually love to be hat on and glasses and just interacting
Yeah.
with people and just chatting. And when that happens, and people want to have veterinary questions answered, like I would say, I have 5 minutes or 10 minutes. I'm meeting someone for lunch, so we go through 10 minutes and through the questions, and then I say, I'm really, really sorry, but I have to go and meet my friend. That person sometimes gets really pissed off
You get
and ends up
so pissed off.
in the
Yes.
same kind of mode of operation Peter Dobias is stuck up because he
Yeah.
didn't want to talk to me as
Yep.
long as I wanted to talk to
Yep.
him. So if there is one thing, and it can happen to us, like if I meet Ed Sheeran or Pink as singers, like of course I would love to connect with them on personal basis, but I know that they have like gazillions of people that want to do the same. So I actually think that it's super important to give the people that we have in our lives the freedom and also a level of understanding that we can't do everything, right?
And it's so crushing to realize that you let a complete stranger down, and yet I'm just a girl trying to get by and do the best she can. And I think that, people don't realize you've got bad days and good days and soul crushing days, and you got to be out there, and I'm also not going to fake it, right? I think the thing with me is I'm not going to be like, "Oh, hi," when I'm not there emotionally. I looked at her and I said, "I am on a call and I am heartbroken right now and I'm sorry." And that was not okay for her. But I was honest with her. Like, I can't be who you want me to be right now, and I am so sorry. But that's, I think, on her, not me. But I'm still sad that she walked away saying, that's not the girl I thought she was. And I'm like, oh, that's an impossible thing to win, right?
I
Yeah.
think that it's really important for everyone to give the others the benefit of the doubt. We don't really know what we don't know. Like if we run into a person has been crabby or not very nice, like we don't really know what happened in their life, right? So it's like we can build a boundary, and try and do our best to build a boundary, but at the same time, we don't know what happens in the lives of others. And maybe she was just a single person who didn't have any friends and wanted to make friends. Who knows? And maybe she just really appreciated your work, and it was just a bad kind of yeah.
Timing.
It's
Yeah.
bad
Timing.
timing, and I'm sure that maybe she's listening. And
Yeah. It's true.
if
If
you
you are,
are, we're
I'm
sending you.
sorry. Yeah. Yeah. I'm sorry that I am not always 100% in life. Like,
Uh, here you guys, you can see perfection is in real life and blood and flesh. Dr. Karen Becker, I know that very well. Karen, I love you for that.
I
But I
just
also,
want to
it's a
say,
high mark to meet.
oh, and
Oh,
I just want to say, I just noticed, I think you have new glasses. They are stunning. I really like your glasses, Peter. Are they new? Are they
oh,
orange?
oh my goodness. There's a, so I have a
those
tendency
are some
to.
kick-ass glasses.
Oh, thank you. It's so kind of you to say, but I have a tendency to lose the things that I like. And so I got them about 3 months ago, and I lost them in the city of Prague when I was walking PAX, and I didn't find them. And then I was frantically looking on the internet, looking for these glasses because I think it's kind of fun, but
They're very
it's
cute.
just
Yeah,
glasses.
very cute.
I had wooden glasses one time, and I forgot them on the plane, and I really loved them. And as I realized that forgot them, I was running back to the gate, and I could see the plane kind of pushing off in the hangar, and I never got them actually.
Oh.
It's okay. We can, this is a non-attachment exercise. We can be attached to things. All
Oh,
right.
so I'm doing resilient. This is my stage three. This is the very first time in my whole life I'm working on non-attachment and I'm working on resiliency training. I want to be a more resilient girl. I'm a girl who deeply loves and feels overwhelming pain. And out of that, I am soul crushed. When things die, I am a 32-year veteran of grief counseling because I just really struggle with getting over or being able to let go. I'm not good at letting go. So I'm doing this resiliency training program for 2 years now of learning how to become a stronger girl on the inside. So when bad shit happens, I don't crumble. I can teach, I can do hard things. So this is my stage Christmas tree, which is a crow tree. And part of it is my Christmas tree ornaments are, or I don't buy them. I find pine cones usually, or I find some natural organic rock or shell or stick or pine cone. And I put the date and where I found it around the world. My entire traditional Christmas tree has the most meaningful ornaments because they are gifts and natural things from around the world that define my entire life. And my Christmas tree box, if my house was on fire, the only thing I would grab is my Christmas ornament box. So my resiliency coach is like, hey, this year we're just going to pretend you had a fire or a flood and that box was gone. And I was like, and he's like, I want you to feel what that would feel like. I'm like, that would feel like shit. No, like I wait all year. So my cockatoo feather, Bella, y'all that have cockatoos know that when you smell them, they smell like baby powder. They just smell so good. And I have her feather in a glass vial. And once a year, I take the lid off.
Oh, wow.
And she died in 2014. And in that vial, that her feather smells just like her. And I can go back and it's like this memory where I can go right back to her and everything she was and her vibrant, amazing personality. And once a year, I have Krosno. This is my kitty behind. I have his fur in a glass jar and I can take the top off and it smells like Krosno. So me being able to do that every year is so important and I wanted to. And then this year he's like, let's pretend that box is gone forever. How are you going to be on the inside? And I'm like, I'm going to be a fucking hot mess. And he's like, or not, or not. You can do hard things. Like you can let go of these things. Practice non-attachment. It's really hard. I think dudes do it so much better. Dudes
No,
are
no,
fuck that. And
no,
they're like, I don't know.
no.
Dudes are just I learned so much from watching men be strong men because I'm like, I want to be like that. But instead I just cry. All I do is
Karen, I
I
just,
cry.
I'm very lucky to have many, not many, but a handful of really good guy friends. And it's not what it is, what it appears to be. I think that we're in good terms. We're sensitive, and we are more sensitive than we appear.
Totally.
And when you kind of take it all the way down, we are kids have who've never grown up, in a way, and the vulnerability comes with it, right? But we are conditioned, and we need to kind of deal with the world, and we need to support, like, that's the natural kind of male role, to support the family or the tribe, even though obviously the boundaries don't need to be finely defined. But it seems to have been more of the case that men feel responsible for the family and for the kids, and need to deliver and provide, and so that makes us a little more on the outside look less emotional, or less.
It doesn't help that society tells you from about like
Yeah.
little boys can cry up to whatever 4 to 6, and then pretty soon there's some age where all of a sudden society is like, "Don't cry, dude. Come on, be strong. Come on, come on." And
It's also
in general,
regional.
shut it down, right?
It's regional. I actually find that in Europe, men are surprisingly so much less macho than in some
So
North American
refreshing.
areas.
Yeah,
They dress better and do all that.
they do. They smell better. They're much more they're much more fashionable. For instance, Peter, you always have amazing shoes. You have the
Really?
best. Yes. I was just, here's the best part. You just lectured at that raw feeding veterinary society. And I'm not going to disclose who, but there was an attendee there who took a picture and said, "Whose shoes are these?" And I'm like, "Those are Dr. Dobias' shoes." Because you always wear good shoes. But not all dudes wear good shoes because I think it's because you're European. You
It's
always have
like,
good
I
shoes.
think that I hope it's not superficial, but when you grow up in Europe, like we actually, when we go to theater, we're dressed up properly, and it's almost respecting other people and respecting
Yeah.
the whole establishment, the
Culture.
actors and the whole environment. So it's very, on some level, it's formal. You see like 6-year-old boy with, in a suit and
Right.
and a tie, and they're kind of fine. And, even like teenage kids, like wearing suits for exams or for different events and occasions and to dance school, and that's just the way it is. So it's probably in the DNA somewhere, engraved and irreversible. But we're talking about and I know that we'll have to finish, but I just wanted to say that I totally relate to your fear of losing the things that are dear to you. My biggest fear, beside losing my loved ones, and obviously my dog right now, Pax, like he's doing really well, but still, like, it's always sitting there. My biggest fear is that I would lose my photo albums and my pictures, my photos. It's almost like losing part of my life. Like I would actually grab that computer and I would grab the photo albums before everything else, actually.
Yep. So
So
I don't know if you know what an aura frame is, but that has been very helpful. So as I'm going through my resiliency training, learning how to let go, like learning how to be okay when bad things happen, I think is a really important thing. And I don't have all those skills I want, so I'm learning them now. An aura frame is a digital frame where you can upload all of your photos onto, and it sits on my kitchen counter and it's in the cloud, so that if God forbid, like a fire or whatever, like in Arizona, it's fire is what's going to happen because we have no water, we're in the desert, and fires happen. I would be able to hit a button. I'd be able to buy a new Aura frame and put in my password, and all my photos would come back to a new digital frame. Like that to me is like the blessing of technology, allowing me to cope with some of my white knuckled inability to let go of things and let go, because I used to lug around giant tubs of plastic photo albums, and now I put them all on digital, and it has helped me take a deep breath about those precious tubs. And that has been a part of resiliency training for me, is photo albums, because it's really important, those decades and people and animals and things and experiences, and those photo albums define our lives.
I'm so sad that we don't have much more time, because I'm sure that the community would love to know how you do it and what you learn in the courses. And the best way to kind of progress in our learning is to teach it to others, right? So maybe one day we'll sit down and I'll pick your brain about that. But many people, obviously, all the dog lovers that I know, without an exception, we all have the fear of losing who we love, especially our dogs and our loved ones. And but at the same time, we need to remind ourselves that there are millions and billions of others who have gone through the same thing, and that in a way, we need to move on. We need to process. We need to somehow get through the grieving stage or through the sadness and then keep living. Because if we keep stuck in that grief, it doesn't help anyone. It doesn't help us. It doesn't help our present pets and animal friends and humans. And yeah, I definitely think that that's important too. Do you have any closing remarks? I'm so grateful that we hung out, and thank you for being open to it.
I like your ask the vet card question game. I think it's really good. I think all of us are maybe at the same point, in all of us, meaning we are trying hard to not obsess about the past or obsess about the future and all the what ifs of what's coming and all the what could I have done different that's past. Our our ability to be present right now. Be present, meaning that whole preemptive grief of I know my dog's gonna die, I know people I love are gonna die. Like we can get caught up in that. I can get caught up in that really fast. And it all it does is take away from this moment to be able to really be present to experience the all that this very moment has to offer. That's where we can connect and be cellularly fulfilled and emotionally and spiritually fulfilled. It's when we're distracted looking back or looking forward that our brains become so noodly. And then that's where anxiety and fear and the whole thing starts looping. If we can just keep ourselves in the present moment, we're able to see things, I think, a whole lot clearer. But that's maybe why we all have to get together more and talk about it because it's really hard to do. It's,
It
it's
is
really
hard.
hard to do. That's the work.
Spending more time with those we love and care about. So thank you for spending more time with me, and sending you a big hug. And we'll talk later.
We will. Bye,
Bye
my
bye.
friend. Bye.
Bye, my friends.